ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः।
शुभम
Sure.
अभ्यास वैराग्याभ्याम तन्निरोधः. We have to do some abhyasa and we have to develop vairagya. These are the two sides of the same practice. They are not separate things. Secondly, I mean, you would see that I am coming back to every time I restore Patanjali Yoga Sutras, I come back to Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam. I love this sutra. Basically, this is the whole system of spiritual ascent. Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam. You can grow spiritually only with the practice coupled with non-attachment. Okay, but what is the practice? Last time when we discussed it, we said that practice of putting your 100% in the present without vairagya should be about, and the non-attachment to the fruits of your karma or action is the practice. But it is a very vague statement for the yogis like you, because you are focused yogis. You would want something very specific to be done. Generic statements don't work. Like it is said, na, for men, the obvious hints don't work. You have to state what you want. And women always expect that the men should understand the hint. They never understand. Even obvious hints don't work for men. So in the same way, focused yogis will not be able to take this generic statement that whatever I do, I be 100% present. What? Am I not present 100%? Now that is the question to be pondered. Correct? Is it not? Whether I am completely present in the given moment or not. Right? Right? So let us evaluate that. Let us try to understand whether we are present 100% now or not. So Patanjali has also given us next in upcoming sutras after this Chitta Vritti Nirodha Sutra, he had given Vrittya Panchataya Klishta Klishta. So there are 5 types of vrittis of mind which are klishta or aklishta. Klishta means the ones which are good for your mind, good for your ego, good for your smooth sail in this world. And then aklishta. Aklishta is the one which spins your mind in such a way that the mind becomes a problem. The mind spins in such a way that the mind becomes a problem. Right? Now, honestly speaking, when Patanjali is talking about Chitta Vritti Nirodha, he is not interested in either of these, Klishta or Aklishta. Is it not? Whether Vritti is Klishta or Aklishta, it has to come to a halt. One, from the perspective of pure Patanjalian school of thought, the Vrittis must come to a halt. And if it comes to a halt, then we recognize our being, our presence. Well, that is Patanjali's views. We are anyways tantrics, So we will not completely go by that, and we will follow our scriptures also. We will bastardize Patanjali Yoga Sutras in our own way. Not for the sake of commentary, only for the practice. Commentary wise, Patanjali has to be followed in toto, as I said, but you will fail in the next moment itself when Patanjali will define how to practice yoga. He'll say yama niyama. Nobody of you will be able to do it. So let us start tweaking right away. Yama niyama, satya, hinsa, asteya, charya, brahmacharya. Now, right? And the reasons for that you are fully aware, because you people have decided to become lifetime bhogis. So yoga cannot be, the Patanjali yoga cannot be part of it. However, Tantra yoga can be part of it. So let us evaluate. Are we free of our vrittis right now? If not, then what? If not, then what? When Patanjali has defined what are the vrittis, so if you look, observe your mind space, become aware of your mind space, you will find that it's already having certain thoughts. Okay? Certain thoughts. What is that thought? Pramana. You are listening to me. You see, Pramana means Pratyaksha Anumana Agamaha Pramanani. Right? Patanjali defines that Pratyaksha Anumana Agamaha Pramanani. Pratyaksha means direct experience. And then inference. Inference is about experiencing the present, but trying to deduce some result, some outcome, some action, activity out of your direct experience. You try to inference what it is like, right? If a piece of iron is red, you will not touch it, inferencing it to be hot, right? Is it not? This is also based on direct experience, but based on your logic, you decide that this is hot. If smoke is coming out of wood, you will not touch it, because you will say smoke is coming, there is fire. Although I can't see, it's beneath the ashes. But since the smoke comes out, we are not supposed to touch it. We will hurt ourselves. So are we free from such readings, judgments now? Now, if you may say that Acharya ji ने ये बोलना शुरू किया है, तो अभी ये भी बोलेंगे. Now this is your inference about me. Is it not? He has started Abhyasa Vairagya and he started calling us yogis. Abhi yogis kaha hai? Now he will turn to bhogi inference. Okay. So we are always in this state of at least cognitive mode, is it not? We are always cognizing the world. We can't be devoid of cognition. If even cognition is happening, it is a vritti as per Patanjali. So that should mean that we should close all our senses and sit, right? Then only the vrittis stop. Is it possible? Yes, Patanjali says it is possible, and that state has been called samadhi. Okay. However, when you listen to Vedantins and when you talk to Tantracharyas like of antiquity, they will say permanent samadhi like this is not useful. It is not going to be the way of your life. It cannot be, right? When you shut down your senses and experience yourself, right? And it is correct. It is correct. You can't carry out your day-to-day activities if you are in samadhi. Samadhi means becoming free of all the impressions falling on your chittam. However, we are understanding it that way. We are only understanding it that way. Look at it. We have two important aspects of our presence, even now. One is the consciousness itself, which is aware of the mind space, right? Consciousness doesn't need eyes to see the mind space. Consciousness is just aware of the mind space. Yes or no? Consciousness has a means of cognizing everything without any senses. And that is why in Ramayana says, Binu pagu chalahi sunahi binu kana. Consciousness is that kind of entity which walks without foot and listens without ears. Okay. Not only this, there is a whole list of things what it can do. Without rasana, without the tongue, it can taste. Without the nose, it can smell. Everything it is said, right? So the consciousness is that entity which is not only aware of itself, but also aware of everything without even having the cognitive senses associated with it, right? For example, when I see something, objects are seen by the eyes, right? Objects are seen by the eyes. Eyes are not seen by the object. The one which is cognized cannot cognize the higher source. Yes or no? That means I am looking at television. Television is not looking at me. I am aware of the television, but television is not aware of my presence, right? That cognition is not happening there. Now, move one step further. The mind is aware of the eyes, because when you shut your eyes, mind fully knows your eyes are shut. The sense perception from this particular organ has stopped coming, stopped falling on its inner space. Yes. So minds are aware of the eyes, but eyes are not aware of the mind. Okay. Is your eye aware of the mind? Is your ear aware of the mind? That means the one which is cognized and sits at a higher level, it cannot be cognized by the person or entity at lower level, right? Correct or not? That means the mind is aware of all the sense organs. Sense organs are not aware of the mind. Okay. Now within the mind itself, the condition of mind space, because mind has been further divided in three categories, or in a way we call it man, buddhi, ahankara. There is no doubt that ahankara and intellect, that ego and intellect are at higher pedestal. We may have debate whether ahankara comes first or ego or intellect comes first. However, we may have debate about it because it is our personal experience, and we may not agree to agree on this point that ego is the highest or intellect is the highest. However, they both are above the ordinary mind space in which thoughts spin. Correct? Correct now? Right? So let's collectively, intellect and ego, let's call it chittam. Although it is inclusive of the mind space also. Chittam is this collective thing. All the three collectively, along with the substratum, along with the impressions which has in its soul, is called chittam. Right? Chittam is not something that memories exist outside chitta. No, though they also exist within the chitta. Your past impressions also exist in the chitta, right? So when we are saying that chittam is aware of the mind, is it right? Yes. Mind means that space which is spinning. Correct? Correct? But mind is not aware of the chittam, or let's say mind is not aware of the intellect and ego. Please understand. Your intelligence is aware of the thoughts. Your thoughts are not aware of the intelligence. Yes or no? Correct? Now, who is aware of the mind? Who is aware of the chittam? You are aware of your chittam. But chittam can never be aware of you. He cannot know you. You can know television. Television cannot know you. Mind may know eyes and a condition of eyes. Eyes will not know the condition of mind. They will do their designated function. If mind is not behind them, eyes won't work. But they would not know the condition of mind. Right? Right, Prema? Correct? So you know the condition of your mind. You know the condition of your chittam. You know the state of your intellect, whether it is corrupt or it is working perfectly. Your intelligence is working well or not, even you understand. Hmm? Correct or not? But at a level of practicality, and at a level of beginners, what is that I? So even Shiva Sutra in the Anavopaya says Atma Chittam. You are the highest. You can recognize yourself at deepest of your level, which is your Chittam only. The journey begins from there. You, the entity which becomes aware of mind space. One second. Here, let us be very careful. I am saying you are aware of your Chittam. But Chittam itself has gotten three parts. Right? One, the space in which the whirling of thoughts is happening. The Vrittis are revolving. Right? And mind is spinning. Intellect is a little bit stable thing. Little bit is more stable than the mind. It's not always stable though, but it is also observing. At the same time, ego is also observing. At the same time, the whole substratum of chittam is also cognizant of all the three. Look at it. So when we start moving inside and start analyzing our own experience, we are not sure whether the consciousness per se is aware of the chittam, or ego or intellect are aware of the chittam state. Right? There is the catch. Now, when we begin to observe our mind space, we think that we know ourselves. Okay? This is the condition of Western's philosopher. Atma Chittam. I think, therefore I am. Understand or not? This is the lowest pedestal of our understanding as per our Indian system of spirituality is concerned. I think, therefore I am. They never say, I am, therefore I think. You see, cognition of mind at that level where your thinking is cognized and you think that the entity or entity which observes this thinking is me. Correct? But Patanjali goes to a different level altogether. He says, if you think, then it is a vritti. Even that has to stop to know yourself. If you are remembering something, it is a vritti. It has to stop to know yourself. If you are judging, that is inferencing. Inferencing is nothing but intellect at work. If you are judging, then also you have to put it to rest. Then only you will know yourself. Right? Understood? If you cognize that this is me, this asmita, this ego has to go to rest, because this is also being cognized at the level of intellect only. Correct? So by this logic, your intellect is the highest thing. Ego comes little lower. This way if you go. However, if we say they are quite interdependent, we can't think this without ego, and ego can't exist without intellect. No, we can't cognize intellect without ego without intellect. Yes, no. And when you say I have cognized something, you already have an ego. So it's inseparable kind of thing, ego and intellect together. Yes or no? So you may have a doubt whether this comes first or that comes first, because I always believe that your ego colors your intellect, and that colored intellect observes your mind space and interacts in the world. I believe that way. Your self-image is your ego. Your being, which you think I am, is your ego. That limited self, which is trying to group the infinite. That is ego. But the moment that is also disappearing, then you know you're already infinite. There is nothing to grope for. Correct? The limitations are gone. So while you're listening all this, you're making out something. Some experience. Yeah, I can go deeper. I can understand. But if you are understanding, it is Pramana only. You see, Pramana means direct experience. You're listening to me and inferencing and trying to do. But now split it further. You are not only understanding, you're also experiencing something parallelly. Even for moments, if you're experiencing, but you are experiencing. Yes or no? When I say all your vrittis stop, all your mind space becomes free of all the vrittis, even now it is happening. Because even if it is a vritti, and I told you how the vrittis seem to be functioning like a circle of thinking on circle of sanskaras, circles of habits and circles of thought. This is how our mind works. Our mind has gotten a habit to work in a certain way. It is into a habit of thinking something in a particular way. And I can tell you, your habits rule you. Your habits of thinking are already fixated. Correct? This is how you think. Got it? Correct? You can't think otherwise. Thinking otherwise takes lot of effort. Right? Mostly you are thinking wisely. Thinking otherwisely is different. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And that is why effort is needed to change the ways of mind. This is Abhyasa. Okay. Now, Abhyasa, when done for a long time, Satu Dirgha Kala Nairantar. Right? You have understood that also. Satkara se vipo. Dridha bhumi. Correct? It has to be continuous. It has to be, the practice has to be, the Abhyasa has to be Dirkal, Nairantarya, Satkara Sevika. Dirghakal means for a long time, without thinking how much time it is going to take. Don't try to think that tomorrow I will become self-realized. Those who become impatient, They finally turn into patients. Okay, yeah. Don't become impatient. That अभी तो शुरू किया है. I want that realization should happen. By the way, Tantra goes at a different level and declares you are already realized, whether you know or not. Even Vedanta says that. Every Indian system will say, you are Brahman, direct, first hand Brahman, whether you know it or not. Whether you are a yogi or a bhogi or a thief or a thug or a Mahatma or Chota Atma, you're already a Brahman, whether you recognize it or not. You don't have to work to create a Brahman inside you. You are already Brahman. The only problem is that mind has to come to a standstill for a moment at least to be able to give us that window from where we can see who we are. That's it. Right? So yoga should not be only about seizing the vrittis, rather it should be knowing the mind apart from us, separate from us, recognizing ourselves without the mind, and recognizing ourselves with the mind. Otherwise, it's useless. Tell me, if you are able to recognize yourself only in the absence of mind and its vrittis, and at other times, vritti sarupyam itaratra, you become the vritti itself, then it's a problem. And the yogi will also become bhogi when he is not in yoga, he is not in samadhi. So that means with practice that can happen. Correct? For example, once again, getting back to that understanding of practice. Practice means somebody wakes you up at 12 in the night. Kya hua? Chalo bhai, there is an emergency. Take out your car. He says, okay, let me think how I drive, because the driver in me is lost. I have forgotten how to drive. No, you don't say that. You don't say that. You continuously practiced for a long time with respect, and you have become a driver. The driver is always in you. This is the permanent groove of this has become your sanskara. The driving has become your sanskara. When it becomes your sanskara, then the actions are driven out of that. They are automated. So, if our recognition of self for a long time, even in brief succession, if we continue to do that, we will become capable of multitasking. What is it, multitasking? We will continue to engage in the world and also be aware of ourselves, which is the problem. Currently, what happens, when we become aware of the world, we forget ourselves. Yes or no? We forget even our own presence. You would say, why do we forget? Willfully. Your interest. You would object to this statement. How? How you are saying willfully? We don't want to forget. Huh? I don't want to forget myself, but you are saying, Acha, look at me and think about it. You go to movies. Don't tell me that you don't go. If I tell you that, you can accept it, but I'll not accept it when you say that I don't go to movies. Anyways, wherever. When you go to movies, you fully know that this is just the screen. Don't you know? You fully know that it is projected from the behind. Right? You fully know. But you sit there to fool yourself. Willingly go there to fool yourself. Who can stop you from crying and sobbing and Ganga Jamuna Saraswati? Ganga Jamuna Saraswati. Who can stop you? Because you are willingly doing so, watching at a screen, forgetting who am I, and becoming one with this movie. So this is how you are living your life. You are willingly forgetting yourself. Who can help you? Only you will have to help yourself. You see, we have not been able to live our life to our content. True, admitted, accepted. Because the desires are many and I have only one body, only five senses. Okay, that's the issue. Our capacities are limited. We are here for a limited time. And after even that also, if we understand our youthfulness is only for a limited period, what all we can do in this limited 10, 20, 30 years. And therefore desires are infinite. We are limited. We are not enjoying, we are not consuming this world, this pleasure. The world is consuming us. We don't recognize it. Yes or no? World will remain as it is. World will remain as it is. As it is said in a very crude language, that a prostitute, people think that prostitute is you are enjoying the prostitute. But in fact, the prostitute is sucking you out of your money, out of your vitality, everything. Is it not? So the world is like that. World is like that. When you engage in it, you are only getting debarred of your peace of mind, your sense perception. Everything is getting deteriorated only by this indulgence. Only if you recognize, right? Yes or no? Now, but that has to come to that has to sink in. That should become recognized in the deepest of our intellect and stabilize it there. That look, if I engage in the world, that is my compulsion. Of course, it is compulsion. You can't live without engaging in the world. But recognizing myself has no other choice. You must. That also you must, in order to keep everything balanced. Your world will go haywire only when you are not present in it. What happens is, we are not present. Our mind, our vrittis, our vasanas are present. We are not present. Our habits are present. We are not present. That is the reason we suffer. That is the reason we, in this world, continue to suffer. Yes? Yes? Whenever you have forgotten yourself, even if it is in bhakti or shakti, whatever, it's only temporary. You cannot forget yourself permanently. The only option is to remember, recognize, and be aware of yourself permanently. No choice. No choice. अब भजन कर रहे हैं, घर घर में सीताराम की, घर घर में राधे श्याम की, एंड है ना, अब भूल गए कौन है हम, भूल गए अपने दर्द दुख। और उधर प्रसाद मिला कि नहीं, सब तुरंत ही चक्र सारे चढ़ गए दिमाग पे, आ गए। समझ गए that we have come back to our senses. So it's not about deluding yourself. Patanjali says, recognize yourself, recognize your habits, recognize your vrittis, work on them, so that even when the world is around you, at least vrittis should move from klishta to aklishta. You should be able to live positively. Patanjali says, your mind has to work on itself. How? By Abhyasa. What is that Abhyasa? Being aware of ourselves. Now it's difficult. You say, I don't know myself. You're saying, be aware of myself. Okay, what are you aware of then? Something which is constantly with you. What are you aware of? You're aware of your body. In Tattva Shakti Vigyan, we give this. We say, become aware of your body. This is me. This much you are aware. This is with you all the time. You don't have to create a body to become aware. So the practice does not require you to get into lotus pose and then only you will become aware of your body. You can be aware of your body all the time. That was one. Patanjali will give a little subtler because it is Atha Yoga Anushasana. It is not Anushasana. For most of the Tattva Shakti Vigyan practitioner, it is Anushasana. It is discipline. Go ahead, take it. It's the beginning. But Patanjali is addressing to other people, some people who have already graduated in some kind of Anushasana, discipline. For them, Atha Yoga Anushasana, now the discipline of yoga. For you, it is not now the discipline of yoga, and therefore it becomes difficult. When I say become aware of yourself, okay, you're not aware of yourself, you're aware of your body. Okay, but body continues to, and with this movement and all, it becomes difficult to become aware of our body. Yes? Correct? Correct? And you'll say, what will happen if I become aware of my body? See, everything in this system is being driven by what? Is being driven by your presence. Please understand that. The body works because you are here. The moment you will leave, body will not work. It means activities of the body, your mental faculty to recognize the body is all because of your own presence. So you are catching or you are trying to intercept at a point, at a stream of your own extension. गंगा जी चाहे ऋषिकेश में नहा लो और चाहे प्रयागराज में नहा लो, गंगा ही होती है. गंगा को पकड़ना है कहीं, we need to catch hold of that stream. Our expression is this body. Till the time it is functioning, the way it is functioning now, it is simply indicative of the fact that we are here. Correct or not? Which we, not the ego, not the intellect, but the consciousness itself. Look at it. If we go to the mindscape, we will we will face the immediate problem that it is not the real me. True. It is not the real you. It has so much internal disturbances in it. True. So does body. There is this problem. Now, therefore, Patanjali will further dwell into another aspect of yoga, which is called pranayama. You say breath. Become aware of your breath. Right? Body may give you pain, but breathing does not give you pain. Mind can disturb you, but breathing does not disturb you. Look at it. We are going to a saner, more benevolent element of our own presence, extension of our own presence, which is life-giving, which is comforting, which is always with us, and which is expression of our consciousness. Look at it. Is breathing a problem for you? Body may be a problem for you. Body may have pain. Is breathing a pain? No. Is breathing anyways is sahi nahi chal rahi. You see, it's not running properly. Have you ever wondered whether you are breathing fast, slow or not? Have you held it for some time? Have you ever said that no, ये मजा नहीं आ रहा. मजा नहीं आ रहा होगा at the level of body. I'm not enjoying my breathing if I'm sick, of course. If you're congested during Corona time, breath was definitely needed. Body was not supporting it. But it was not the breath which was creating problem, it was the body which was creating problem, right or not? So breathing is always a thing which is of value, which is of consequence for our survival also. And it is benevolent. It is life-giving. It is our expression. The, the consciousness is expressing itself in this activity. Till the time consciousness is, breathing will be. Right? Correct? So what do? We become aware of our breath. Being aware of your breath means being aware of yourself. That's the first step. I'm not saying yourself. गंगा जी में नहाना है, गंगोत्री में नहाओगे तो ज्यादा शुद्ध पानी मिलेगा, डेफिनेट बात है, कुछ नहीं कंटामिनेट हुआ होगा, right? As you move down the stream, of course, lot of pollutants, lot of things, lot of other streams must have also come in to join that flow. So when you become aware of your breath, in a way, you are becoming aware of yourself. But not only that, when you become aware of breath, it is so very surprising that your breath is equivalent to your mind. The way your mind is functioning, your breath is following it. Right? So holding on to one thing as abhyasa would be always good. Whether you become aware of your body, whether you become aware of yourself, if you can recognize I exist despite this body, beyond this body, or being aware of this breath, which is connecting the consciousness with the body. Correct? So abhyasa can be any. As I said, your focused yogis, you'll need something more precise to become aware of. And that is why I'm telling you. These are the three anchors which you can become aware of. If you have capacity to recognize your presence, hold on. I'm not saying whether your presence is at the level of ego, whether your presence is at the level of intellect, right? Or whether your presence is at the level of consciousness itself. But if you can be aware of your own presence, that's the highest one. Good. If you can't take that, move to body. Become aware of your body. Right? If you know body is a quite big area to focus because the problem is your focus. किधर focus करे body? अरे किधर भी करो. But I feel myself being present here more rather than my big toe. So what do I do? Okay, fine enough. Drop it. Become aware of the core. Become aware of the heart. Become aware of your center of heart. Right or not? That you can become aware of, right? As a whole body you can become aware of. Even that is taking little bit effort. Then take more manifest and one continuous process, which is outcome of your, which is the offshoot, a direct stream, which is being experienced at the level of breath. So become aware of your breath. Right? Now for those who want to become aware of their mind space, for them there is mantra. But that is very subtle. That's another level of awareness. When it is said that a mantra you become aware of all the time, which is called ajapa japa. Although ajapa has been associated with breath, mostly they say when you are, and probably those who have already gone to Swara Yoga, Swara Vigyan, they would know it, that they are given a sadhana where mantra is associated with breath. right? There also you become aware of not only your breathing, but also your mind space. Both happen at the same time. But to begin with, I would not say go for mantra itself, right? Become aware of simply this process of breathing. Becoming aware of this process of breathing will create a new abhyasa, harmless abhyasa. It's not going to interfere in any of your activities, because when the situations will demand, you will anyways drop your attention towards your breath and you will get engaged in the world. However, our insistence should be, our effort should be to stay aware of it as much as possible. So it's a harmless practice, yes or no? It's a harmless abhyasa. But what it is going to do? It is now, by way of observing your breath, you are working on two things at the same time. One, you are becoming a little bit unaware of the world, which is the source of misery and problem for you, right? Secondly, you're also becoming aware of your mind space, because your breath tells a lot about your mind space. Third, even further, if I want to add, it is also giving you a new habit. Your will is getting developed. Your will, I will do it. The abhyasa does that. Without will, nothing will be achieved. Please stay assured. You have to have will. Iyam atma balhine nalabhya. Means this soul is not achievable by so-called meek and weak people. Understood? The self-realization is not the job or task of weak and meek people. Weak in terms of your body? No. Weak in terms of your determination. Balhina. Whose force, whose power is needed? Power of your mind. What is power of my mind? Power of my mind on itself to stop it whenever it wants. That is what it is. Nothing else. Balhinena means what? You should have that capacity, that power, that force to exert on your mind, right? And nobody's mind is a problem. Mind can never spin in a continuous circular movement non-stop. It always frog jumps. It always jumps like frog. Mind is never continuous moving. It's like electron. Appears here, then disappears from here, appears here. You see, those who know the quantum little bit, they would know that the theory has changed. Earlier, we thought that electron is continuously moving like this, like Earth is revolving around sun, but it is not. Instead, it appears in this quanta, and then another quanta, and then another quanta, like orbitals, what we call this level. So you may have seen that Deepavali lights, in which the sense of movement is created, because the bulbs are lit in a continuous way. One bulb is lit and then it goes off, the next bulb lit, and then it goes off, the next bulb lit, and therefore we experience that it is moving in a circle. So mind does seem that it is moving in a circle, but it is never moving in a circle. It is always what we said, frog jump. It's jumping like a frog, right? So it does go to another point, stays there, but in between it is not there. There is no thought in the mind. Please always remain aware. That state in which no thought has come, one thought has come, and there is a lull, and then the next thought comes. In between, you are in samadhi. You see, because samadhi is your true nature. Samadhi is the true state of your chittam. Now say, what do I do to stop my mind from jumping like frog or monkey from one branch to another? Definitely you will have to look at your priorities. What is your priority? Your priority is your tranquil state of mind and tranquil state of being, where you express yourself without your limitations and your habits guiding you, or you want to enjoy this life living in complete freedom, not bonded by anything, no bondage, right? Now the problem is, हमारा problem क्या है? Our problem is that we become so attached with this world. That is the problem. When world does not ask, has ever any scenery, anything in the outer world asked you, आओ भाई, come get attached to me. It was your choice. Huh? It was your choice. Even if it was asked, if it is about people, of course somebody may say, हाँ भाई आओ मेरी जिंदगी में आना, धीरे धीरे मेरे दिल में समाना. Okay, good. About people, but it was again your choice. अब जिंदगी में आना का मतलब क्या है? अरे मन में ही आ गए, और तो कुछ हुआ नहीं. Nothing else has happened. What has happened? People who think that they are with you, it is only in the mind. Are they with you? Are you with them? In a way, you are in physical proximity, you may be together, you may be closer, but it is all in the mind, because you may still feel you're distant if it is not in your mind. Is it not? So, kuch nahi hota, nobody is asking you. Nobody can have power to attach you to them. No object, no article in this world. It is your will. It is your wish. Correct? So we have to come to that understanding that it is our habit of attaching to the world which is disturbing our mind. Acha, I have given this understanding about you and our identities also, by the way. If our identity changes, and Shivoham is just an identity, if you recognize it as an identity, it is not just a mere greeting. Acharya ji Shivoham, अरे भाई साहब, अपने को recognize करो ना दादा, not for me. If you are Shiva, recognize yourself as Shiva, drop other identities for the time being when you are observing this world. For a few moments, say Shivoham and feel like that. Shivoham means I am mere presence, benevolent presence. Shivatva is the benevolence. Therefore, my being, my presence is Shiva. Shiva means auspicious. So my auspiciousness I recognize by saying Shivoham. It's not by Shivoham Acharya. Otherwise, frustratoham, depressedoham, what not. Huh? These. So our Abhyasa has to become, Abhyasa is the way of giving our mind a new habit, more positive, more empowering habit. That is Abhyasa. Without Abhyasa and without this sense of detachment from the world or non-attachment from the world, and they're going hand in hand. You see how the moment we have started doing Abhyasa on breath, we have already detached from the world. You see, as I said, it's the non-attachment and Abhyasa are going to be the two faces of the same coin. Did I not say in the beginning? So the moment you become attached, the moment you focus on your breath, moment you focus on your body, the moment you focus on your being, depending on your caliber and capacity and will, you're detached, by the way, right or not? Make it a will, make it a statement that I will experience this element of mind, whether presence, whether breath, or whether the whole body, without fail, here onwards. What it will do? It will change your state of power of mind. Because once you get into this practice, gradually you will find that you have gained some power to stay afloat despite your vrittis, stay in the position of control despite these vrittis, that you can change them at your will, that you can stop them at your will. Otherwise what happens? अभी बहुत परेशान चल रहे हैं, अरे वहां कौन परेशान चल रहा है? आप तो बैठे हुए हो. Who is moving? No, but your mind is moving. चल रहे हैं परेशान. What is moving? Mind is moving. Can you not stop your mind? Difficult. Not possible. That means a powerless mind. Right or not? A powerless mind. I'm not asking you not to grieve, not to become joyous, not to feel elated, not saying that. You feel. But you should come back to yourself, fully recognizing it's temporary. It is not what I am. This is just a movie on the. I may like it. And one thing more before I conclude for the day. You see, the vrittis are our habits. Vrittis are our habits. Then you will say, Acharya ji, is sleeping also a habit? Can I sleep differently? If it is, yeah, of course. You can sleep differently. Imagining things is a habit, yes. Any trigger from outside, you imagine only in a particular way. It's a habit. You perceive a direct experience. You start imagining, बनिया होगा तो सोचेगा मुझे फायदा होगा कि नुकसान. जूता बनाने वाला सोचेगा कि इसमें जूता कहाँ है. सोना खोजने वाला सोचेगा इसमें सोना कहाँ है. Right? So whatever you are searching for, whatever your color of your mind, I'll say, the coloring of your mind space is done by your sanskaras. Sanskaras means what? Sanskaras you can tackle, but sanskaras when further deepen, they become vasana. Okay. Vasana means coloring. Your mind is fully colored in a particular way. Your whole world is seen through that lens, that mind, which is now colored. Colored in fear, colored in anticipation, colored in anxiety, colored in depression, colored in anger, colored in victimhood. Colored. It's all in the mind. Your mind feels I am victim. Your mind feels I am insecure. Your mind is fearful. And it is one of the tendencies, natural tendencies. But if we are humans, we must overcome these vrittis. Right? So today's actions and abhyasa is going to become tomorrow's sanskara. Tomorrow's sanskara will become tomorrow's vasana, day after's vasana. That means today if you become little bit sincere about becoming aware of any of these three, and then after a while, satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sejita, that enthusiasm, with continuity, with regularity, with discipline, with yatna, what you will achieve, this habit, this activity will become sanskara. A sanskara will be born. Now this sanskara will further strengthen and it will become vasana. Now, what was the purpose of observing your breath? Not for the sake of observation of breath. It is serving as already explained, many purposes, and one of them is to become aware of the function which is directly linked to our own consciousness, getting nearer to our consciousness, getting nearer to our presence. Yes or no? So when you become aware of your breath, body, or being, whatever is your, I will always say that become aware of body. If you fail, then you become aware of your breath. Becoming aware of your being is a little bit difficult though, but you can. If you have little bit grown over sadhana, in over these years in your sadhana, you can also become aware of your being also, by the way. But that's a very delicate matter. So instead of, and because you are becoming aware of your mind is becoming aware of its own space, or you are becoming aware of your own presence, there's a little bit confusion. And therefore you may start imagining that I am aware of myself, and therefore I would say no, take a tangible anchor first, and the tangible anchor will be your breath or your body, right? Where you can know that I am not aware of it. I have been breathing from last 5 minutes without being aware of it. That you can know, but your mind can play game. So abhi to gaye the, abhi to aware tha. I was aware of my being. Now I am not. No. I am again aware. You see, all the time I was aware only. So you can play with it. You can play down the whole practice. Therefore, become aware of something tangible, and the tangibility is in the breathing. Become aware of your breath. And I can tell you, when you will become aware of your breath, over the period of time, so many things will change. I'm not declaring them now, because if I tell them, you'll start imagining. That is the problem. If I tell you what will happen, you will start imagining. हाँ होने लगा, या फिर नहीं हो रहा है, frustrate होने लग गए, both, right? Because if I give you an impression right away, it will become part of your smriti, and smriti is also a vritti, natural vritti. So therefore you will remember, आचार्य जी ने क्या कहा था, ब्रीदिंग करने से क्या होगा, लीजिए हो गया जी, वही आना चाहिए अभी, उसके अलावा तो कुछ परमिटेड नहीं है. Nothing else is permitted, nothing else can happen. But no, therefore I'm not giving any other thing. Just become aware of breath all the time. Can you do that? Can you do that? So many things will start changing. Why breath? Once again I'm telling, breath is direct function of your consciousness. You are reaching Gangotri, by the way. Rishikesh पहुंच जाओगे, ठीक है, right? If you become aware of your breath, you are already in the Rishikesh. You have to move a little more, few mountains in between. You will reach Gangotri. You will reach the source where from Ganga originates. Become aware of the breath. The eyes open, eye closed, doesn't matter. Eating, walking, doesn't matter. Talking, getting angry, doesn't matter. Try it, and then you will see what happens. You will become less and less attached to the world. That is for sure. The practice itself is like that. The moment, and what to observe in breathing, what to observe. I'm not giving you any specific point to become observant of. Just become aware of the process which is going on. I'm not saying that you become aware of this point, that point, complete path, turning point, nothing. First, you begin to be aware of breath. Then we can refine this practice. Those who are able to do it at least 10 hours a day, at least, I'm giving the interpolation of the time. That means you are aware 18 hours a day, almost 18, not everyone. You have 8 hours of sleep, then of course you have 16 hours of time you spend awake, aware, right or not? Rest of the time, I'm giving you leeway of 8 hours. 8 hours you forget, but 10 hours a day you're aware of your breath. Can you do that? Possible. Why not? It is my breath. It is my attention. Who is coming in between? Who is coming in between? If I tell you that focus on a flame, इधर दीपक जला दो और उसको देखो, तभी कहोगे नहीं, but so many things are coming in between. Why? The fan is coming in between. अगर fan run करेगा तो problem. Even the people are walking in front of you, they are also obstructing the view of it. Right? The तेल पानी कौन डालेगा उसमें? The oil is a problem. The wick is a problem. The deposits are the problem. अभी इसको चलेंगे कैसे? Sustenance of the deepak is a problem, right or not? Sustenance of the flame is a problem. आचार्य जी अभी तो कड़की चल रही है, I don't have money. इतना तेल कौन जलाए? अरे भाई, nothing. Don't need to do anything. Just become aware of your breath. Nothing comes in between. Nothing and nobody. Even your body doesn't come in between. Understood now? That is it for today. Abhyasa Vairagya. This is the crux of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And therefore, I keep coming back to this only. Whenever I don't have anything to speak on, I come back to this. Here, ultimately, what you are going to do, you will listen, लपेट के किनारे रख दोगे. You will not do anything. इसको भी सुन लिया, शिव सूत्र भी सुन लिया, सौंदर्य लहरी भी सुन लिया, अभी कल को स्कंद कारिका बोलेंगे वो भी सुन लोगे, विज्ञान भैरव बोलेंगे वो भी सुन लोगे, कुछ नहीं होना. Nothing will happen. So whatever little progress you people have made, it's only because of Abhyasa. Whatever Abhyasa you have taken up, that has only changed you. Now I'm giving you another level of Abhyasa today. That Abhyasa is about not being dependent on the state where I will get the isolated place and a comfortable sitting. I can chant mantra, I can make mudra and all that. No. Just become aware of your breath. Make sense? And I can tell you so many things will happen, Naren. So many things. Dada, don't worry. You will be a changed man. You will be a changed man. Just flat 30, 40 days. 10 hours a day. Become aware of a breath. Don't leave it. You'll be a changed man. Why? Now for the first time, from Mudha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, you will move to Ekagra. Now for the person who is Ekagra, there are possibilities. Now he can be given some other higher practice. Now he is a candidate for higher Vikshas. Without this, nothing works. Right? Right? So those who have been even temporarily aware of something, I'm not saying that breath is the only way. If you're focusing on mantra, you're sitting in sadhana, and those who have been able to do that, even they know that the simply becoming completely immersed in one thing and being aware of only one thing, what miracles it can bring to them, what magical experience it can give to them. But now I'm just telling, if you have done your sadhana, fine. During sadhana, become aware of whatever the processes are. Beyond that, when you're not doing anything, become aware of your breath. That's a complementary practice, supplementary practice rather. Right? Right? Sadhana, so sadhana part you do as you're doing. In sadhana, you become aware of sadhana. You engage fully. Do the mantra, do the japa, do the just, do that, everything. But once you are off your mat, now the second gear. Put your vehicle in second gear. That is breath awareness. Correct? This will ensure your presence in the life. You'll be more present. Don't think that you will become absent from your life if you become aware of your breath. People will think that abhi to I will become detached. So how I will operate in this world? You will operate more efficiently. Only a matter of time. Initially, it may be little bit hindered. Only for 10-20 days, I can tell you. Beyond that, it will bring about a chemical change. Chemical change means irreversible. Nothing can be done about it. Now, why? Because you see, once you learn how to drive, you can't forget it. Once you learn how to swim, you can't forget it. Once you know how to ride a bicycle, you can't forget it. In the same way, once you know how to become aware of the way, you can't forget it. It will continue. Chemical change will happen. Irreversible change will happen in your personality. I am giving you that. जितने लोग आए हैं, ये लोग इसको गुप्त रखें. Keep it secret. Don't give it to those who have not come. ठीक है? हाँ हाँ, सिंपल भाई. जो आएगा वो पाएगा. खैरात थोड़ो ना बांटते. I am not a charitable institution. Pure business. You give your time, then only I give you something. Okay? Give your attention, give your time, give your affection, give your love, give your faith, then only you will receive anything. Otherwise, how can? How can I give you anything? So all of you have received it. Now it's your turn to put in your pocket and forget it or apply it. Up to you. I can't do it for you. But I can tell you the most wonderful thing you can ever experience through this. Life will change. I can take that guarantee. It can become better, it can become worse, but it will not remain the same. That is what I'm saying. Life will change. Magical changes will happen. Okay. Agree? सभी लोगों ने संकल्प ले लिया, आज से एक बीड़ी और पिएंगे. This smoking of this cigarette is about becoming aware of this breath. Okay? Try. It will change. थोड़े दिन के लिए हैं हम लोग यहाँ पर, 50-60 साल, 50-60 years. We are here for only a limited period. Utilize it to the fullest. There is no tomorrow. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. Let me tell you, you people think that tomorrow will definitely come. A decade will come. No guarantee. Don't think like that. You only have today. Forget about today. You only have this moment to begin with. As much as you want, you exploit this present moment. Forget about tomorrow. कल से करेंगे. कल आया ही नहीं. Okay. Now we have examples, not one but many. Day by day, the examples are going only to increase because life is like that. Life is like that only. Who is a permanent? Make the most of it. Live joyously, live intelligently, live in awareness. To become aware, first anchor your awareness on your breath. That's it. Okay. How many times I have said anchor yourself on breath? How many? I mean, I don't know. As many times you are during your day also you are going to become aware and reminded of you. At least these many times. As many times I have said become aware of your breath. Even as those many times if you become aware of your breath during the day, changes will start happening. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Again, सब हो गए. सांप छोड़ दिया आचार्य जी ने. ठीक है. Okay. Any questions? No questions? As always? Good. I'm good at teach. I'm a very good teacher. At the end of the class, nobody has any question. All doubts cleared. Good. Thank you. Let's pray and then we'll leave. Oh, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyit Dukha Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shiva.
ॐ श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ श्रीगुरवे नमः